Hi everyone, welcome back to our podcast Note to Self. We are the student wellness ambassadors and my name is Donna.
My name is Clara.
My name is Pooh.
My name is Caitlin.
Okay, so for today's episode, we are going to be talking about loneliness versus the feeling of being alone. So there's actually an article that I found from CNN that said that there's like a loneliness epidemic where nearly 1 in 4 adults feel lonely. And in a Meta Gallup survey, 24% of people aged 15 and older self-report feeling very or fairly lonely, with young adults ages 19 to 29 having the highest rates. And during one of our trainings, we actually took a survey from UCLA that measures our loneliness, and we wanted to talk a little bit more about that and how we feel about loneliness. Do you guys have any thoughts? So no thoughts?
Do you have like a question to like prompt the thought?
I don't know, like the loneliness. Have you guys ever felt lonely? What in moments do you guys feel like?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one, yeah.
Okay,
Go ahead and ask us that.
Right. In what moments do you guys have felt like the most loneliest in your lives? Whether like school or just a pandemic as well. Like we were lonely for a long time for that.
I feel like my loneliness comes in waves. I wouldn't consider myself to be a lonely person because just the way that I've grown up, like I've been considerably independent for my life, so I never felt like I craved somebody there, like I had like a missing space that had to be filled per se. But I think when I am lonely, it usually comes at a spot where I had a plan, like I had something set up, I was gonna go meet with somebody, and then that plan got canceled, and then I'm thinking like I don't have somebody else to fill that gap. So it's like when a gap opens, that's when I feel lonely.
Yeah, I have to agree with the whole like loneliness comes in waves, because there's definitely times where I am alone per se, like I am the only person there, but I don't feel alone. Like I just feel content being by myself. But there are times where I seek human connection, I guess. That's how you would say it.
Yeah, I love being alone though.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Do y'all like being alone?
I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm an introvert,
Me too.
Yeah.
so I need to be alone.
I know.
Introvert? Are you an
Introvert.
introvert? I think I'm an ambivert. But like today at school we had a club rush from 11 to 3 p.m. and it was socializing that whole time, and by the end of it I didn't want to ever speak to anybody again. I was like, that is enough for me for sure.
Yeah, I think I heard somewhere where it's like, because I have heard about ambivert and I did kind of resonate with that, but then I heard that it's mostly extrovert and introvertness is more how you gain your energy or how you get your energy back.
Mhm.
So then I was like, okay, then I'm definitely an introvert because I gain my energy by being alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Mm.
Yeah, when I'm around people, it goes by.
Yeah. Does it depend who you're around?
I think I just get kind of like, I don't know if, like when you gain consciousness, I don't know if you guys ever heard of that.
Yes.
Like you're in a moment, all of a sudden you're like, wait, I'm here. So I get like those moments where I'm kind of like, I'm done. And then I gain it back. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I daydream and then I'm like, okay, I'm recharged again. I can talk again.
Yeah, totally.
You guys have probably noticed that sometimes. Where I'm just kind of like quiet. I'm like staring off into the distance.
And for me, like the time that I feel most loneliness is when I change a new environment, because I don't know anybody in that environment, and I feel very lonely even though I'm with people. But once we feel close, like I'm no longer feel that loneliness, and I think that makes the difference between being alone and loneliness. I still feel lonely even though I'm in that new environment. So
Yeah, I agree. I think I feel the loneliest when there's like big transitions in my life, or big like life stages, that like changed for like everyone around in my age group. So I would say like the last time I felt like very lonely was like probably transitioning out of high school to like college, because a lot of my friends like moved away, so I had to like kind of adapt to that new environment of like not alone, but like a lot of people I knew were just not there anymore. So I think in a sense I did feel more alone.
I also want to highlight some of the questions on the UCLA survey of so there's like 4 different options you could pick. So it's like often I feel this way, sometimes I feel this way, I rarely feel this way, and I never feel this way. So the first question was, I am unhappy doing so many things alone. And personally for me, I don't feel this way, especially when it comes to, you know, like doing homework or like just hanging around the house. Like I don't feel unhappy doing those things alone. I actually prefer it, because I think when I'm around people, I feel like I hate awkward silence, so I don't like silence. But what do you guys feel? Like, do you like doing things alone?
I think I would say I rarely feel that way, because usually I'm like, please, like I want to be alone. I like to just like go shopping by myself. Like I trust like my opinion and my presence to be enough, like to fulfill me. But sometimes like when I'm doing homework, maybe this is just an ADHD thing, but I like crave having like a body double, like somebody to like be there and like support me while I'm doing homework, or something that like I don't want to do. But if I'm doing something that like I enjoy, like me being there, like I'm enough of a support for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I really like doing things alone, especially when it's like errands and stuff, because I feel like if I do errands with somebody else, I'm just gonna get distracted, and it's gonna be like a whole process, which at the end of the day would be very fun. But when there's like things I need to do, I love doing it alone. And yeah, I like love driving alone, because you like can play the music really loudly and no one's there being like, oh hey, trying to talk over here. And you're just like, oh. So yeah, I think I definitely enjoy alone time, and I love, you know, like at the end of the night, rotting in your bed alone. I'm like, I love, this is my peace.
For me, like I like spending time alone, but at the same time, like for example, I need to focus on one thing, like so I stay in my room and study for around maybe 1 hour, and I need a break. At that time I want to talk with someone, maybe like family members, so I go to the dining room and then talk with my parents, and that gives me energy too. So I cannot stay long hours alone, but I still like to be alone. I don't know. It's complicated.
I think it's like a balance too. Like
Right.
knowing when to be alone and knowing when to have people around you, for sure. Because I also get distracted in some areas when I have people around me. So yeah. And there was another question that was, my social relationships are superficial. And I feel like this one was a good question because, especially I feel like in community college, a lot of people have like their own independent goals. So like some people just want to get a certificate or associates, or they want to transfer. So it can be hard to find a community on campus where you actually feel like they know you. Like it's not the same as in high school where you're forced to interact, whereas here you have to kind of make the time to do it. So I wanted to hear your thoughts about like whether the relationships you made here feel kind of like not the same as when you had them in high school.
When I see the word superficial, going back to high school, I feel like my relationships were so much more superficial in high school, but that doesn't mean that I am closer to people in college. It was like in high school, I just felt like I didn't know who I wasn't confident in myself, and I acted in ways that weren't true to who I was in the core. It was just like, I'm in high school, gotta do what everybody else is doing and act like everybody else is acting. So I just kind of pretended, and that's why I think they were superficial. Like, nobody really saw beneath my skin, and I don't think because I didn't let anybody in, like, I couldn't see past anybody else's skin either, if that makes sense. Like, does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
But in community college, I think that I do know a lot of people better, but I feel like it's hard to find that friend, because you can, like, be tight at school, but then can y'all go hang out outside of school? Like, I feel like I haven't really, like, had that much of that at community college, whereas at high school I had more of that, but, like, I didn't know anything about anybody.
Yeah. Whoa.
Who is it?
We're popular.
Who is it? Am I, what I'm saying, like,
outside.
It makes sense
Yeah.
what you're saying.
does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, because I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Like, you guys are, like, friends, and I also have, like, well, kind of, like class friends, you know what I mean? People you talk to in class, but then, like, once that class period's over, like, goodbye, I'm never gonna see you until next week. And then, so it is hard to find people to hang out with outside, and also to keep that communication alive, because I feel like most of the time, like, I want to reach out, but then it's exhausting to be the person who's always reaching out. It's kind of like, do you want to be friends with me? You have to reach out too. Like, it has to be a 50-50 type of thing. But it is hard. I find it hard to make friends just in general, more when I feel like everybody has their own thing going on. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like in high school it was different because, like, we almost had no freedom to do anything. Like, you know, you would also see, like, your classmates way more.
Yeah.
You would see, like, maybe every single day, or at least more than 2 times a week, compared to, like, college. And after class, it's not like your classmates in high school could go anywhere. You know, they're just still in school or in high school, while here they could drive to go home, or they could drive to go get food, and it's like they have so much more freedom that's like, oh, I don't want to I don't want to impound on that freedom of, like, hey, you want to hang out with me?
Yeah,
You
like,
know?
impose,
Yeah, sometimes it works out, and then I definitely do feel, I don't think any of my relationships are let's say, superficial, because I do adore all of my friendships that I've made in college. It's just more like I have a hard time differentiating between, like, high school friendships or the expectations of high school friendships to college friendships, because I feel like a lot of my high school or childhood, like, friendships that I still, you know, have now, I feel so strongly for them, and it weirds me out because I don't have those same feelings with my college friends, but that's obviously because we haven't been friends for as long of a time. But I feel like society, or, like, the media really has a emphasis on, like, oh, your college roommate best friend, or your best friend that you meet in college, and I feel like that standard has really, like, freaked out my expectations of how I think I should feel about my college friends, if you guys understand. Like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't
totally.
say it's superficial at all. Like, I adore all of them. It's just, like, it's weird trying to understand your friendships. Like, I don't know how you guys feel about, like, your childhood friendships, but I feel like friends that you've had since childhood, since they've been, like, ingrained with that such, like, an innocent and energetic energy, like, you kind of just have a different feeling towards them than when you make a friend now, you know?
Yeah. It's, like, nostalgic, too. to think
Yeah, like a
about them.
nostalgic
Yeah.
feeling.
I was gonna say something, but I forgot.
And for me, like, I also have a good childhood friends back home, and now everyone is, like, studying in different countries, and we no longer in touch each other. I don't know why. Since the coup happened, like, we have different opinions on that political situation, so we are no longer talking to each other, and it makes me feel really sad. But personally, I think the college friends I think I have more understanding with college friends, because we become adults, and the in childhood friends, like, all we need to do is, like, the parents take care of us, and then when we get hang out and then they give me money, and then we hang out together, and we don't need to spend a lot of time on other things. Like at college, for example, like I study, I have work, and some friends are more understanding. They know more like what I am dealing with, the issues inside. So I feel like college friends become more understanding with me, but at the same time, I also love my childhood friends.
I want to go back to what you said about like the college friend or like the college roommate. I think it's mostly because you're forced to be in the proximity of one another. Like you have to live with them, and then so even because you're the only person you know in that campus, so you probably go eat with them and you probably do everything together. It's kind of like you're forced to be friends in a way.
Yeah.
And here, like you said, like people just can go wherever they want after class. They don't have to. They have like the safety of their home or like the safety of other friends, because we are still in the area, and most people who come to Ohlone probably went to high school, and the ones that are in Fremont or Newark.
Yes.
Another question that kind of goes into what we were talking about was like it is difficult for me to make friends. For me it is. I don't know about you guys. Is it difficult?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it's easy and lie. I thought we were all gonna be like it's so easy, but
Oh, it's
no,
so hard.
it's hard.
It's
It's so hard.
so
Yeah.
hard.
Why is it hard for you? Do you think?
I think it takes time for me to become comfortable with someone. Like I have such a weird personality that like I feel like only a couple of people know about it.
The ones that get it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like, and then sometimes I become self-aware and I'm just kind of like, damn, I'm so annoying. So I just kind of, it's sort of just me. It's like a me problem, basically.
Were you told that you were annoying?
No.
Or do you think you're
I think
annoying?
I'm annoying. Because sometimes I know myself.
Real.
I think we all annoy ourselves though.
Yeah, but I feel like we shouldn't.
It's just like, I mean, you're stuck with yourself 24/7.
True.
You wouldn't be annoyed with
I know.
anyone you're stuck with 24/7. So
Yeah.
give yourself some grace.
It's hard though.
For it. Yeah,
Yeah, it is hard.
it's hard. I feel like my barrier when it comes to making friends is I feel like yes, there's parts of my personality that I try so hard to like push down so that nobody sees it. But I think for me, I also just tend to think that everybody hates me off the bat, which kind of prevents me from making friends. Like it's my fault for sure.
It's me, not you.
What?
It's me, not you.
Literally, I'm like, it's me. Like, I don't think that it's. I mean, it's like complicated. Like, sometimes I'm like, it's me. I'm the problem. Like, I'm annoying. I'm like, whatever. But then sometimes I find it hard to meet people, or maybe it's just been Ohlone, but meeting people that are like the same crazy that I am, but also the same like scholar and like on my like driven activities. Like it's hard to find people that are mixed in that, but yeah.
It's also hard to find people who want to be friends. Like some people just want like that kind of person they talk to in the moment, but then it's just kind of like, okay, bye, like have my own friends. So it's hard to find people that want to be friends and actually cultivate a friendship.
Yeah.
That's what I found.
True. Yeah. It's like you never know where it's going in community college. Like
Yeah.
we could be going out for like a little boba, but then you may never want to see me again, and you can choose that because I don't have any classes with you. It's not high school. We're not confined to the same four walls for like 6 hours a day. So
They're like, I got to know her. I gotta know. Goodbye.
I gotta know. Yeah.
Dude, we should have like a cricket sound.
Chirp.
We should have a mood board where we just start pressing it. To
yeah, like one of those like tables where you play like,
Yeah.
the little
That'd be
like
funny, but I
That
would
would
be
be
giggling the
hella
whole
funny.
time.
one says like what?
What did you say?
Boy.
Oh, and then okay, I want one of those.
like the longest ever boy. When you press it, boy.
It's 30 seconds, and we're at the end. We're just like,
Boy.
And then if you like something, you have to say 6 + 2 is.
8.
Hey.
I like that. Yeah, I agree. I think it is hard to make friends. I think it's hard to like make friend groups too.
Also that, yeah.
Totally.
I think that's like even harder to me
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, oh, friend group. Now you have to be like, oh, okay, I like these 2 people, but do they like each other?
True.
And it's hard. And it's like, I don't know. It's like sometimes it just happens, but a lot of times it doesn't.
Yeah. And I also feel like in the future it'll be weird because like you're obviously gonna make different friends in different areas. Like, I mean, when you get married, like, do you have all your different friends in like the wedding? They don't even like each other.
Who cares? It's your wedding.
Yeah.
True, but like,
They should be adult and like polite to each other, you know?
yeah,
Civil.
that's true.
Civil.
They have like
Respectable.
beef. I know you.
Why would they have beef? Why are you assuming your
Yeah, like
friends
maybe
have
they
beef?
knew each other like, in high school.
Your
and then,
future
like, you
friends
met.
have beef.
Yeah,
You never know.
Never
The
know.
world is small.
that's
Mm.
true. And you should be like, well, you're 30 years old and you should get over the high school beef. Just
They're
saying.
like, I can't.
No.
can't. Just to add a little bit to what I was saying earlier about like meeting somebody that's able to match like both of my vibes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the hard part in community college, or maybe this is like just me, is I don't reveal all those vibes. Like I'm not being, I guess, fully transparent with the different sides of me. So then when I'm trying to make a friend that matches both sides, like that's kind of impossible because I'm not being true to myself and like articulating that. But I do think because we work here, it's like,
We're forced.
when is the time? When's the time to be honest? Like, it's a complicated thing. So yeah, it's difficult. Like to make friends, it's hard.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, so another question on the survey is I feel left out. So is there any instances you guys or environments where you guys specifically feel left out in?
Do you want to start?
For me, I would say I was kind of feel not left out, but just kind of scared, and especially when starting like a new class, and especially if I don't know anybody, because I'm always kind of like, okay, like I have to go in, and also you're trying to make an impression on the professor that you're like a good student and blah blah blah. So I always kind of not feel left out, but feel sort of like I'm on a raft in the middle of the ocean alone, kind of thing. But not left out. I don't know. Left out is more like social settings, I think.
I mean, that could feel left out. I know what you mean. Like, sometimes when, like, none of your classmates are exactly vibing with you.
Yeah, but I don't talk to my classmates, so
Yeah.
it's like they have nothing to
Who
vibe
cares?
to.
Yeah.
They have nothing to vibe to. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely do feel left out. It's like specifically this feeling of being invisible. Like I feel like even if I'm there, I'm not seen. Like people don't understand. It sounds so emo. People don't understand me. People don't get me. But it feels like that sometimes. Like when I'm in social settings, I feel like I'm looking through like a portal and like things are happening around me, but I'm not really there. And it's less dissociative. Like if I'm addressed, like I'm tapping in. But I feel like even when I'm speaking, like I just am not heard or seen, which I don't know where that comes from, but
I hate when like you're like in a circle of friends and you say something and like nobody hears it.
I feel like that happens to me too often. Maybe it's because I just speak too fast and nobody understands me.
I hate
But yeah.
And I feel like people definitely heard it too. Like it's like you're not deaf. Like I know
I
you
heard that.
I know you heard it.
That's why like my favorite people are the kind that like will make sure that you know that they heard you.
Mm-hmm,
Like I heard you, like
Yeah.
Maybe
Even
not
if they
like
had
that, but-
nothing to say.
yeah, there's like
They're
I
like,
heard you. Maybe not like that.
Yeah, like or they turn to you and they tell you like what's going on. I like those people.
Yeah.
You get a gold star for being nice.
Gold star.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's more social settings when I feel left out. Especially like one is like when you have a friend and then they have like other friends and they're taking you Oh, no, I have a better one. So, like, in high school, I had this friend who, she was friends with, like, basically everybody, but, like, wasn't really friends with them. Like, you know those type of people? Like,
Yes.
Like, knew
they
of
talk to
everybody.
people, but, like, they're not, like, best friends with them.
Friends with everybody, not a friend at the same time with anybody.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah.
And we would be, like, walking around campus because, like, once again, there's nothing to do in high school. And she would stop to talk to people, and it was kind of, like, all of a sudden, I was just not there anymore. Like, it was, like, just a conversation between them two, and I always hated that feeling because it's just kind of like, why are you doing that? Like, you're being so mean and rude for no reason. So that was one, like, feeling that I always felt left out during that, and it's so intentional too because it's so easy to be like, and also, like, you know everybody in high school. Like, my high school had, like, a graduating class of 400. Like, we knew everybody. So it wasn't like they didn't know me. It was more like, I don't care about you, I don't want to talk to you type of thing. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense.
Ugh. It does, unfortunately.
Like, wait,
Yeah, I get that.
your friend or the person she was
Both,
talking to?
'cause
Oh.
everybody knows everybody in high school. Like, I went to John F. Kennedy. Like, everybody knows everybody. Like, you know everybody in your class. It's not like they're randos. You've been with them since middle school, probably even elementary school. Like, it's like maybe you don't know their name, but you definitely know their face. So yeah, that was one of the feelings where I always felt left out. It kind of made me mad. Got heated a little bit.
Yeah. For real.
Sorry. All I can think about is, like, soundboard, like, things you can say to whatever, like, any story.
What would
Yeah.
you soundboard in this moment?
I don't know, like, giving, like, oh, she's heated. She needs some milk.
She needs some milk.
We need that soundboard for next time. I'm just joking.
With the one with
we could
Paul.
get it, yeah. Oh, he has one?
No, I was thinking for the one with Paul. He's like, we have these resources, we play soundboard. The clapping one.
Yeah.
Yay! What
Paul's
are
gonna
we...
be like,
He's like, no, Paul's like such a trooper. He's so much fun. I feel like he'd be vibing with that.
yeah. He would give us
But-
a kind giggle.
Wait,
I think I feel less like that feeling, like feeling left out when I am with people in the same culture. But when I communicate with different people from different backgrounds and cultures, like sometimes I cannot relate to what they really talking. So that experience I start feeling like when I was during the COVID-19, I joined a program, and then there are a lot of people from different Asian countries, and they really talk about different topics, and sometimes I cannot relate to that. So that is the time I think I feel left out. Or maybe sometime maybe we have to pick up maybe 2 or 3 things, and then the thing that I pick up is different from other people. So it makes me question like why, and then it started make me feel like left out. So yeah.
yeah. Real. I think that social media also creates a lot of FOMO.
Yeah.
Like, I see people, like you were talking about, like, oh my gosh, college bestie group. Like, all these expectations of what I should be doing. Like, POV when the girls' trip made it out the group chat. Like, I don't have the group chat. Like, I feel left out.
I don't have the girls.
Yeah,
I don't have the money for
I don't
a trip
have the
either.
girls. No, it's a lot. It's a lot to put these expectations on yourself. Like, I should have these friends. I should be doing these things. And so there's a big FOMO there. And sometimes, like, I don't even want what I see on social media, but I feel like I need to have it to reach a certain status. Like, you know, that I'm, like, cool, per se.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you guys, what do you define as loneliness? Because I know, like, loneliness has, like, the basic definition, but what does it mean specifically to you? I guess I'll start. So for me, loneliness, it's both a feeling, but also, like, just like a state of being, because you can be in a group of people but still feel lonely, kind of like maybe not acknowledged, or you just kind of just don't feel like interacting with everybody else, so you feel lonely in that moment. But at the same time, you could be at home alone, and that's like literally loneliness, like maybe you have nothing to do or nothing that you can do feels like it could fulfill you. So to me, that's more loneliness. It's like physical, but also like mental and emotional. Yes. Don't steal it.
I can connect.
Stop it. Oh my god.
I hate the awkward silence. I have to fill it.
Your one-liners are so good. Okay, I'll go. I think loneliness for me, yes, obviously it's that physical of like nobody's there with you. But I think another aspect of loneliness that I like have felt before is like when no one really understands you, you know? Like if you're going through something and nobody else could relate to you. Like, and maybe they're also not really trying to relate as well. And I think that could also really suck. And it's like a different type of loneliness of like, sure, these people are around me, but they don't really understand what I'm going through. And that's like not a them problem or a me problem. It's just like situational, like, oh, this just sucks.
I agree.
I also agree with what Caitlin said. Sometimes it's really very lonely. Like, for example, I have some issues and then I call my dad and he blames for me what stupid things are you doing. Maybe just an example, but when I want to open out my feelings but that person cannot really understand me what I'm dealing with, it makes me feel very lonely. And there is one popular thing that most of the international students experience. Basically, like for example, we live here in Freeman and after all school things done, like we go back home, but we never feel that is our home because there is nobody, like family members or maybe even the pets that we have at home. Nobody welcomes me. It's just a silent room. It makes me feel very lonely when I go to home, but at least like we still can call and FaceTime with the family members, and that's a good thing. But even though we can call them, but they don't really understand what we are feeling right now, it is another loneliness too. So, yep.
Personally, I really like the idea of defining the word because I don't know, I think that it's something that everybody goes through, but there's a lot of different ways to look at it. Like you could be, like I don't know who mentioned this, but lonely in the presence of people, lonely by yourself, or just in a state of being, like you just feel like lonely. And I think for me personally, when I think of lonely, I think of, I think I kind of said this earlier, but like yearning to fill a gap. Like there's something missing. It might not even be a person. It could be a feeling. Like sometimes I feel lonely and like isolated because I don't feel happy enough. Like I am staying in like one mentality and I feel like separated from a different version of myself and like alone from even like who I was before, which that happens more I think than feeling lonely for like a person, at least for me personally. But yeah, being lonely is a weird thing. Yeah. But yeah.
It's so personal to feel lonely.
Yeah.
Also, loneliness can look different like on people. Like one person could be like smiling and laughing and all that, but they're like lonely. You know, they feel lonely.
Yeah. Also, something that I heard recently from a Leo Skeppy podcast is that humans are relationship like creatures. We need to create connections in our lives in order to thrive, but also to like meet our needs. Like it's part of Maslow's hierarchy of needs to like fulfill that communal connection. And I don't know if y'all believe in like energies and the universe, but I know I do. And when I think of like this Leo Skeppy philosophy of like we need human connection, I bring that to the universe, and like the universe wants us to have human connection. If like as humans we need it, like the universe will push us towards that. And like, feeling lonely is part of the process. Like, you will get it, but you kind of have to, at least what I think is, like, suffer a little bit and be alone, figure yourself out, and then you'll find the people that will make you not feel lonely. But it's interesting because, yeah, you can have friends and be lonely. It's just like there's something missing.
Yeah, and I also heard that, like, social media has kind of put, like, a barrier on those moments of connection, because I saw, like, I don't know if it was, like, an article or a video, but they were talking about how when you go to college and you're, like, waiting for the professor to open the door, for example, before, people would just stand there and, like, talk. It's like, oh, you're in this class, like, what's your name, like, blah, 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 right? And then now, because we don't like awkward silences, we just reach out for our phone. And we might not even see anything. We might just be looking at a blank screen.
The calculator.
Yeah, but at least it kind of gives you, like, this safety net.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we're not allowed to connect anymore. It's kind of like you're weird, you're cringe if you don't already have these connections.
Yeah. And it's also, like, if I'm trying to talk to somebody but I see they're on their phone, I feel like it's hard to approach somebody, but it's even harder to approach them if it seems like they're busy. Like, they could literally be scrolling on social media and I see that and I'm still like, oh, I shouldn't bother them.
Yeah.
Which is a very interesting point because, yeah, I think that does really suck that we can't have those moments of connection anymore. And then, like, I feel like even when we do and then we, like, exchange Instagrams or anything like that, there's, like, a notion in your head where you're like, oh, I'm just going to text them later if I actually want to be friends with them. And then you kind of forget about it. And then you don't stand there to try to get to know a person.
Yeah.
Like, in real life. You're like, oh, but I can see their Instagram. I'll know what they like.
It's also the idea of, like, who's going to text first. You know what I mean?
Real.
Because nobody wants to be the first one. Let's be real. Like, nobody wants to be the first one to be like, oh, because then you think, like, oh, they think I'm desperate. They think I'm, like, longing for friends or something. Like, I don't know. That's what I think anyway.
Yeah, 2024, it's over. We'll text first.
Dude, that's what they all say. Every year it's like resolutions, and then next year's the same resolution.
Damn, so real.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with, like,
Feeling
being desperate.
Oh.
You know? Or even appearing desperate, being desperate, because I think everyone's low-key desperate. Like, why wouldn't you be desperate to make friends?
That's
you know?
true.
That's, like, it would be, I think, a little bit more concerning if a person's like, I actually hate having friends, and I'm like, oh,
Red flag.
okay. You, yes. Yes. You know, so I'm like, you're scared of being judged and all that, but I'm just like, at the end of the day, I think don't be so hard on yourself. And for sure, there has been moments, like, in my life where I'm like, oh, I'm so desperate to make a friend, I'm just gonna DM somebody, and they're like, oh my god, actually, I've been, like, looking at your profile too. And then it's like, you have all these, like, you know, you build yourself up to get very upset over, like, appearing desperate or whatever, but it's like that person at the end of the day is also just human, and they're not out to hate on you.
True. I think you have to be, like, a mean person to
Yeah.
hate someone for just reaching out to someone
Yeah,
else.
that's, like, very weird for a person to be like, oh, you're weird for wanting to be my friend, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh, you know. So yes, slide in those DMs for friends.
Also, a lot of times when you reach out to someone, they'll be like, oh, I've been meaning to reach out too.
Yeah.
Like, usually that's what I get.
Yeah, me too. So it's like not that serious at the end of the day, and I feel like a lot of the barriers if we say it's hard to make friends is because we are anxious over something or insecure about something, or there's some sort of invisible barrier that we build up for ourselves when it's probably, you know, the other person's probably building the same barriers, and that's why it's hard to make friendships, because we're
Yeah.
both on both sides of, like, the different spectrum.
It's kind of like that painting, or like Michelangelo painting, when they're like reaching out, but like they can't even touch. So now we want to talk a little bit about how we personally get out of feeling loneliness, maybe just kind of like coping mechanisms, or just ways that we kind of minimize our feeling of loneliness. For me personally, I like to kind of connect with myself, so I usually draw. I like to draw a lot, or trace, because I can't really draw. And then listen to music. I feel like that helps me, kind of just sort of centering back to me and trying to focus on me and not really what's going on around. It sort of helped me. I don't know. I feel like loneliness is sort of something you have to kind of go through. It's like a wave. You have to let it just go.
Yes, I agree. I think how I kind of get out of that funk is I actually try to, like, make spending time with myself more meaningful. Like, I'll, give myself a little sweet treat, maybe. A little something sweet. Or I'll do things that I like hobbies, and I'll just remind myself that, being with myself might not be the worst scenario I could be in.
Facts.
For me, like, whenever I feel lonely, I talk to myself, like, find something to do, like, either it is unproductive or, like, watching movies, paintings, readings, at least, like, talking with friends, chatting with friends, at least find something to do, like, or cleaning the house or planting, gardening, anything. But at least if we have something to do, we will no longer feel loneliness. But it doesn't mean we have to hide that feeling or ignore the feeling. But as long as we have something to do, it makes us, like, focus and concentrate on that thing and reduce the feeling of loneliness. So, and we also need to explore ourselves, like, what kind of activities we really like. So it will really help us, like, to reduce this feeling.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I think usually I will go through my contacts and call people that I'm closest to, like my sister or my cousins. I'll call them, and if they don't answer, usually I'll be, like, super down bad because I'll be really sad they didn't answer, but I'll just try to distract myself, like, do things that make me feel good. And if I feel like not doing anything at all because I'm just upset that I'm, like, alone, that's fine too. Like, just being alone and doing nothing and just waiting for the time to pass. Yeah, like, that's okay too.
Ew, cut that out.
That's okay too. Doing nothing is okay. Should I plug it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Always plug.
So doing nothing is okay too, but if you want to do something about feeling lonely and you just want to talk and have someone to be a listening ear, we do have student wellness counselors, which are a team of 4 ambassadors that are trained by our licensed social workers and therapists to be counselors to the other students on campus. So, I don't know if you personally, behind the podcast,
The screen.
what was I going with that? Where was I going with that?
You're trying to break the fourth wall.
Literally. I was trying to be like,
I'm gonna go crazy.
hi. I'm sorry.
It's so funny.
So, I don't know if you as a listener have ever experienced a moment where you have the opportunity of getting therapy, but the thought of having an adult or a therapist be on the other side of it is a little daunting. So our student wellness counselors are just here to be non-judgmental, be supportive, and we're your peers. So I think it definitely comes with a less stressful environment. I am a counselor with the Student Wellness Counselor Program, and, like, not being biased, but we're pretty cool. So come stop by. We have hours Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So yeah, just come by. It's free, of course. All you have to do is fill out a little form, and then it's fully anonymous. So highly recommend. If you're feeling lonely or literally any feeling at all, we're here for you.
Yeah, you guys should definitely come visit them. Building 7, 3rd floor. Tell the front desk, right?
Yes. They'll get you set up front. Lena and Jessica got you up front. And they also have, like, counselors as well. Are licensed professionals, which are fabulous. Each and every one of them are great. So
Yeah.
come by the health center.
Yeah, we're all literally here for you, and they're here for you. They were literally trained for you. So definitely use your resources. I don't think any community college has stuff like this before. I don't know.
I think we're one of the first to do this.
Like
yeah.
Ohlone is ahead of the game, so you guys better use it. And yeah, we want to say thank you so much for listening to this episode. Hope you all have had a great start to your spring semester. Yeah, thank you so much for listening to the note.
No,
To
self.
self.
Note to self. Yes, one day I'll get it. So thank you for watching or listening or however you consume this. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.